What's happening? A well-organized lie defeats a disorganized truth every time. Woo-hoo-wee. Man, y'all already know what it is, man. It's God Killer in the house. I'm coming to do what I got to do, and I'm going to do what I got to do. We standing strong. We standing tall. Hey, and it's and Raw Squad up. Yeah, what's good, family, man? I'm here with the two powerful sisters, you know what I'm saying, on the Raw Squad. All right, that's Dr. Oyamaya. What's good, sis?
What's good with you, brother Uncle Cat?
Raw Squad up.
I'm in Raw Squad up. Happy to be in the building. I'm looking forward to this conversation tonight, brother Uncle Cat. You know, this is my type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I know tonight we're going to get into science. And we're going to, I know we're going to address, can I go ahead and say it, Brother Unc, or, you know?
Go ahead, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to address the claim from Brother Ali Muhammad that the Raw Squad teaches white science. So, you know, we're gonna respond to that claim because we don't teach white science. So we're going to get into all of that. I just want to say peace and love to the family in the chat room. Thank you for tuning in.
All right. Sister Naya, what's good? What's happening? Raw Squad up. Fire, fire. Your voice is on fire. What's good, Sister Naya? Raw Squad up.
Oh, what's up, brother? What's up, my sister? My sister in the struggle, Dr. Ma'ad. It was a pleasure seeing both of you guys at the Sinetta TV Awards.
Likewise.
Raw Squad, we represented it. We represented all the way. We held the whole thing together. We won lots of awards, and we were just there as a family, supporting our brother Sinetta. And I'm just so proud of him. He did his thing. So I'm really, really, really excited, and I really want to get into this topic because I think that it's important that we define who we are as Raw Squad, because Raw Squad been around for a long, long time. It started with three brothers, Ish, Brother Unc, and Brother Sanjetti, and they had a purpose. So we just want to make sure that everybody understands their purpose. So, Brother Unc, you can get started.
Yeah, well, you know, before we dig in, man, I like to a word from our sponsors. This show is dedicated and sponsored by Meltrex. Meltrex is all about the Meltrex. You know what I'm saying? Those animated lessons, right? That's going around the whole daggone world, right? Because around here, you know what I'm saying, we want to represent the change that we want to see in the world. So that's a shout out to Meltrex and Dr. Mia and her company and her lovely sons, you know what I'm saying, that run the company. That's a hell of an example for the youth coming up. I'm a Raw Squad, the next generation. You want to say something about the Meltrex product, Doc?
Yes, yes. Can I grab it, Brother Unc?
Well, you better grab it, because I was looking around. I couldn't find
Look, same here, Brother Unc. I was looking around like, oh, man. So
got you.
Let me grab it really fast. Oh, man.
I thought I could have grabbed one quicker than you. Man,
Let's see who we got in the chat room. Let's see what we got here. I just want to say thank you for joining Raw Squad. Don't forget to like the channel. We got Jeremy in the chat room. We got Gullah, South Carolina. We got Brandon Russell. We got my boy Sean, Tennessee. We got Will, Black Lion. Okay, this is a hard name. I can't pronounce it. SHESI, Simply Unique. I like that name. We got Delbo. Thank you guys for joining the show. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. If you guys see someone getting out of line, go ahead and put them on mute. Let me go ahead and make my brother Sean a moderator so he can keep up with what y'all talking about while I'm focusing on just the camera. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but Raw Squad started. Okay, there go Dr. Mont. She's back. You ready to get your advertisement on?
Yes, sis. And look, after I get my advertising on, I definitely want you to read the Armor Raw Squad mission statement. I mean, you wrote a beautiful mission statement, Sister Naya. So when Brother Ali Muhammad put that claim out that the Armor Raw Squad teaches white science, I mean, if people go to our website, they'll see what we teach, simply by just reading our mission statement. But before we get to that, family, please support the Meltrack Project. As Brother Angaket stated earlier, this project is going around the world at this point. We've sold films and books in 30 states in 10 countries. So it is indeed going around the world. We have 2 films available. We have Meltrek Episode 1, Exploring Ancient Africa. We also have Meltrek Episode 2, Exploring the Pre-Columbian Americas. We got to stop allowing Disney and Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network to program the minds of our babies. We had to take full control of the conditioning process of our children in order to ensure that they develop into the people that we need for them to be. So you can use the tool Meltrek. Mel is short for melanin. Trek means journey. So we're taking you on a journey to understand the history and culture of melanated people. We're talking about you melanated people, not fail melanated people. All right. So all you got to do is go to Google, type in Meltrek, and links to purchase the episode will populate. I'm finished, Sister Naya.
Hold on. One sec. All right. You already know we rocking with the Abju, Abju wear. All right. Plain and simple. Taking the community, I'm saying? Man, back in control, one shoe at a time, family. Okay. It just is what it is, man. The shoe's gonna be in Harlem soon. Okay. Within a week, you can go right up on Harlem and get them. Also, I'm trying to figure out the store that my brother's putting them in. It's a boutique they're going in up in New York. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a few places in South Carolina. I got to get the addresses that they're going to be featured in. And so go to the website, www.abjuwear.com. That's ABDJUWEAR.com. All right, man. Y'all go to the Amara Squad, AmaraSquad.org. Go to the marketplace. We got all the products and goods, got books. And, we just basically holding on and doing what it is we got to do because we want to make sure we represent the change that we want to see in the world. Man, y'all can see me every day at the Black Dot Bookstore and Cultural Center in Lithonia, Georgia. Just Google that. And, I'm there. So any questions? We got the Amara Squad classes kicking off. All right, we're going to have one at the end of the month. Let me give you the address. That's 6984 Main Street, Lithonia, Georgia, 30058. Man, so hey, we here, okay, and we doing this thing the way we supposed to do this thing. So that's the Black Dot Bookstore and Cultural Center, man, the home of the Amara Squad. So around here you got to put the money where your mouth is. We stay on a no pseudo tour, and that means you can't be pseudo in your life. So if you talking, then your brand should represent, what I'm saying, the trash you talking. Plain and simple. So it ain't like I'm trying to stick my chest out. I'm just trying to let you know that we're in these streets. Dr. Oya's in them streets. Sister Naya, she's in the streets. Maybe she can talk a little bit more about what she actually does for the community professionally. You feel me? And so we got Brother Asar. You know what I'm saying? We the daggone magnificent 8 around here. Brother Asar, he's an author. He's in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Plain and simple. He's at the conferences, the scholarly conferences, the DIOPS conference. What else? The ASCAC conference. Okay, presenter. Same with my brother Sinjetti. You know what I'm saying? He doing the same thing. He's presenting at ASCAC. He's presenting at the DIOPS conference. So we not just talking around here. We got brother Wuja. He has classes. He's teaching brothers and sisters in Africa. Okay, y'all can go online and get that class, man. Okay, brother Nahis, we waiting on this book dealing with genetics. You know what I'm saying? He's in these streets. So we're not an internet group. We use the internet to market what we do. I just want to get that super clear, right? And understand that. So that's important to know that no, we're not a YouTube group. No, we're not. We got brick and mortar around here. So all y'all with groups, right? You should at least have a building that you can go to and call home, because we can do that around here. All right, plain and simple, and that is crystal clear. All right, no pseudo in your life. So whatever you teaching, whatever you think you know, it should be thoroughly integrated in your life to transform your life, right? Before you try to transform other lives. So yeah, we going on tonight to deal with this issue about the white man's science. We hear it thrown around all the time, and it has become very, very confusing to me, based off of all the great African scientists, all the great African American scientists. I become very, very confused, right? Based off of all the great works of the scientific community, right? That actually back and prove and verify that our elders like Theophile Banger, Sheikh Anthony Diaz, Reverend Annie, Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark. You know what I'm saying? They actually supported them in, you know, the information. It's in the books. Black Man and Now, Civilization Barbarism. You know what I'm saying? It's a host of books written by quote unquote black community. They was writing on said subject matters before, you know what I'm saying, the Europeans was actually, you know what I'm saying, writing on the subjects. So, you know, the white man science, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I understand it to be a ploy. A ploy used when you're getting beat up, your response is the white man science. So which one of y'all want to go first? Kick it in.
Yeah, so this is Sister Naya. So I just wanted to, wait, I'm not presenting. I just briefly want to take you guys to our YouTube channel, because I want to make sure that we establish specifically what Amara Squad, that's my son's name, what Amara Squad.
Everywhere too.
Huh?
You got me. I don't know why I'm presenting everywhere. Let me see.
Are you presenting?
Yeah, you must have did it.
All right, let me see. All right, is that better? So I briefly wanted to go to our Amara Squad YouTube channel. You guys get a chance, and you can go to the About section, and you can find our description as to what we stand for. So first thing, Amara Squad is the collective of some of the top African intellectuals. I know you know Asar, Dr. Ma'at, Sinjeti, Kat, Black Panther, Nahisi, myself, we got Jonathan. I mean, some of the top intellectual minds working on behalf of educating the masses. Amara Squad was founded, I think, in 2010, and it was Brother Ish, it was and it was Sinjeti, and they basically came together because they saw a lot of misinformation in the community, and they wanted to do something about it. So most of the information, of course, was related to religious doctrines, Christianity, Islam, out of Africa theory. There was a lot of misinformation, ancient Kemetic science. So there was a lot of information. So they came together, and it was like, listen, we need to form a group of people who can come together and get people the correct information, because you can't solve problems if you don't have the right information. So that was the purpose of the squad. From there, they built on the squad. They brought in Brother Ngozi. Then they brought Asar into the mix. Then, you know, they brought Dr. Ma'at into the mix. Then they brought Rujawu, Jonathan. Then they had Sister, what was the sister's name? I'm sorry.
Segment
Into the squad. Then, you know, of course, me, and then Nahisi. So the squad is built on the idea that we need to challenge not only the academic community, but also the misinformation, because misinformation will lead us to get off track. And we need to stay focused on our goals and what we need to accomplish. So that's why Amara Squad was formed. You go to our About page on YouTube, you'll see that our mission is to promote scientific literacy in the African American community. Our goal is to develop educational programs, as you can see with Dr. Ma'at, Brother Panther, he works on a book. You know, Sarah, he has books. I mean, we just produce all type of educational materials. We want to challenge academic institutions as it relates to African history and thought. We want to talk about language studies. Our mission is to publish African-centered books, conduct research. I'm going to be conducting some research in the next couple of years, maybe in the next year or so. We want to create business opportunities. You can go to my website, unitedconsortium.org. I basically teach businesses how to implement a conscious business model that gives back to the African American community in a meaningful way. Also, we're dedicated to transforming this conscious community, which was seen at the Sonetta TV Awards because we supported the brothers from A to B in every area. We want to make sure that people are professional, they're using proper methodology, rigorous academic study, and scholarship. We believe in peer review and critical thinking, but we leverage all of that based on an Afrocentric model. So we never compromise our Afrocentricity. We never compromise our ancestry for anything. We believe in ancient Kemet. It has one of the best models for us in ancient Kemetic science. They use mathematics, they use science, they use mythology, they use various means to educate the people. So we're using Afrocentric methodology. So I just wanted to put that out there. And so, anybody want to build on that?
Yeah, Naya, I just appreciated the fact that you said that we believe in peer review work, and I know that when when we say that we support or that we utilize peer review work, I know that a lot of people have accused us of imposing westernized scholastic methodologies on our people. That's not what it is. And I think that a lot of people don't even understand what peer review work is, Sister Naya. You get what I'm saying? We believe in peer review work because, when something is peer reviewed, i.e. reviewed by experts on said subject in said field, we're saying that, a peer review is just a system of checks and balances. That's it. That's all. And so I just wanted to just add on to what you were saying, Sister Naya, that yes, we do utilize peer review work. And I want people to understand that when we do utilize peer review work, we're not imposing westernized methodologies on our people. We just believe in the system of checks and balances. You get what I'm saying, sis? Gotta be folks checking your work. You get what I'm saying? When you put ideas and results and things of that nature out there. So I just wanted to add on to what you were saying, sis.
Facts.
Yeah, facts.
And we all our peers, you know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't I want Sister Naya to review my work? Why wouldn't I want Dr. Oyamayat? Why wouldn't I want Brother Saw, Brother Sanjetti? Why wouldn't I want some of the brothers and sisters in the community? Chief X, Brother Ben, Smash Rock Wells. I forgot to mention them too. I was gonna come in with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? And I mean, that's we supposed to review our work. And so as we review the work, people get mad. Man, they should be glad somebody took the time out to actually review, half of the work they got. You know what I'm saying? Should be glad. You feel me? Because the white community gonna laugh at you. All right. And so I remember I said before, the squad wasn't built. You know what I'm saying? And I know MBK, did a little funny video. Yeah, it was in good taste, right? And show me just beating up, make the statement that, we was built, to challenge the European community, right? But then every time you turn around, I'm beating up the conscious community. Well, the daggone white people ain't crazy enough to jump like that. It's only our people seem to want to jump and catch it. Because I always say, anybody can get it. You feel me? So what is meant by that statement? Dr. Oyamayata is not a gunfighter. Sister Naya is not a gunfighter. Brother Unc is not a gunfighter. Retired. Brother Sanjay, Brother Saul, Brother Ben, Brother Smash Rockwells. You know what I'm saying? Brother Nahisi. We're not fighting with guns. You know what I'm saying? We're fighting with the minds, right? We're intellectual gunfighters. So when I say you can get it, what am I talking about? Not a bullet, not a fist, because that's not what we represent. I'm talking about you can get the knowledge and the homework. And everybody need to do some daggone homework. Last time I checked, that's everybody. So when I say you can get it, don't take offense. get the homework, right? And everybody need a little more study in their life. So that's what I'm saying. So yeah, it was a funny joke, right? And I got y'all MBK. I got you, right? Because y'all a little bit slipping on the science department. Just want to let you know that, right? And maybe when I get a chance, I'll talk about that, right? I don't want to muddy this show up with that, but I got you. Go ahead, Naya.
Sister Naya, she must have stepped away. But yeah, earlier you were saying how, it's really an insult, for someone to make the statement that that the Armor Raw Squad, that we practice white science. What is white science exactly? You understand what I'm saying? Like, what is white science? And like you said, Brother earlier, just piggybacking off of what you said, just for him or anyone for that matter to make that statement, it's an insult to all of our ancestors and elders who are in the scientific, who are engaged or involved in the scientific community. You named Sheikh Anti-Joke. Also, look at this, Brother Ankh. I know that Brother Sinjetti, he talks about this book a lot. I remember about a year ago, and that's why I went and got it. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima wrote an entire book called Blacks in Science, Ancient and Modern, right? So, so for him to say that, look at this. Hold up, I got another one beside me.
Yeah.
Look at this. By Ife Kilimanjaro.
I can't see you because, listen, because she got the screen sharing on. Got me presented to everybody.
Oh, she can't see it?
I know I can't. I got it. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see.
Hold on. Let me go to the channel and check it out. Hold on. I want to make sure that people see these references.
Or they just saying me. I don't want to see me.
Hold on. Let me look. I want to check it out. Oh, yeah, you're right. They just see you. So they can't.
Hey!
Yeah, they can't see the.
Yeah, where you at now? You got to change that.
I'm here. Let me see what I got wrong. I mean, this computer is so messed up. All right, let's see. You guys still see the screen share?
Yeah.
I know that they're like 30 seconds behind, or like, I know they're a few seconds.
Okay, there you go. You did it. There you have it. Unwatched Squad presented. Okay.
Okay.
So now you going. So you don't have it where document. I mean,
I see myself now.
I know you don't got it now. Where you can, when we talk, our voice come up on it. You must have did something different.
Yeah, this is on my old computer, so it has some problems. It doesn't let me do anything like kind of in real time. So if you see something, you just text me, and then I'll or chat. You use the chat.
Yeah, but Ankh is right, Sister Naya. It should be that we pop up on the screen when we're talking. Like right now, I'm just on the screen, and when you started talking, people just saw me.
Right.
So,
for real?
Yeah. You got the wrong setting.
But why are you figuring that out? I'm just going to go back and chat. So I was showing you, brothers and sisters, this book right here, Blacks in Science, written by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. So to say that we teach white science is kind of like equivalent of saying that we weren't involved in science at all. All right. So Dr. Ivan Van Sertima wrote an entire book, Blacks in Science, Ancient and Modern. You have people like Dr. Ife Kilimanjaro and Tadika Kilimanjaro wrote a book on research methods. They have a few books on science. All right. So we are involved in science. And Brother could you read them the definition of science? Read for them the definition of science. Science is simply what, Brother?
The observation of natural forces on planet Earth. That's the basic. That's super basic right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, science is the systematic study of the physical and natural world. That's exactly what it is. And we've did that. We've done that. All cultures, for that matter, Brother, would you say, have studied nature or studied the world, right? All cultures have a cosmology, right? Which was developed based on their environment, right?
Facts.
So all ethnicity cultures have a cosmology, which meant that they did study or observe the physical and natural world. I want to show folks this right here, Brother Ankh. Since Black folks weren't involved in science. I'm looking at this book right here called After God is Dibia. Okay. And it's talking about the cosmology of the Igbo people.
Mm.
Now, I'm looking at this is page 3. What did you say, Uncle Cat?
Oh, that was the, I don't know what that was. That was,
Yeah, I'm looking at page 3. Now, we just finished saying that science is the systematic study of the physical and natural world, and you said the observation of natural forces. Well, the Igbo people, okay, they studied nature. So what you're saying, Brother Unc, is science is just the study of nature, right? So I'm reading this book, After God is Dibia, right? So we're talking about the Igbo people, Igbo cosmology, divination, and sacred science. Oh, look at this. Igbo cosmology, divination, and sacred science in Nigeria. All right. The Igbo people, page 3, it says nature is the supreme adept in the ultimate. Nature is the best scientist, the best architect, the best estate surveyor and valuer, the best musician, the best doctor, and the best in anything, just name it. So then the author goes on to talk about the creation of the universe, of course, in anthropomorphic form. And he says that the world began with a bang. So, Brother wait a minute. Didn't modern science propose the Big Bang Theory?
yep, they was a little late though.
He said it's a little late though.
Yeah, they're a little late.
But our ancestors already believed, right, or thought that the world began or the universe began as a monolith and that an explosion occurred, which created the planets, right? So our ancestors believed this thousands of years ago. So I guess if we were to reference the Big Bang Theory or if we were to talk about this explosion, someone would accuse us of practicing the white man's science when in actuality, our ancestors knew this or thought this thousands of years ago. And a matter of fact, in Igbo, they call it Owa Wulu Owa Walu Owa. That's what they call it. Okay. That's exactly what they call it. And I forgot, I have it right here, the translation for it. It says, hence in the ancient Igbo held, it says, Owa Walu Owa, the first world broken into pieces. That's what it translates into. So our ancestors already believed that the world began with a bang, or the universe began with a bang. Okay. Even in Ifa, and Brother Ben and I, we were corresponding via Facebook Messenger. He was saying even in Ifa, his Babalawo told him that, I think it's called Okamba. Okamba is another word for Oludamare. But he said that even in Ifa, they taught that the world began or the universe began with an explosion, right? So, modern science just verifies what our ancestors have been teaching for centuries. I just wanted to bring that out.
And that's very interesting. And since not to say that it's not racism in science, right? Not saying that. But one thing scientists do, right? They give credit for where they get ideas from. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, they do. And just you can tell that white people didn't pop up out of nowhere with this idea of a big bang. You get that? They study cultures. They study cultures. Just like they don't come up with this grand idea of medicine, right? Let me show you this real quick. Right here, simple. I do it all the time. The Atlas of Human Body, white man science, right? That, our community is now a religious community. The conscious community is now officially religious. Consciousness is now a religion, right? Because you'll look at this book and say it's the white man science, right? Because it's dealing with anatomy of the human body, right? You'll fight against the Amara squad. I mean, vigorously. And we're simply, to the best of our knowledge and ability, trying to explain something that was here before we got here. And that's the natural world. So I'm trying to figure out, how can you defeat something that was here billions of years before you? What I know it seems like we always winning because we're dealing with the ultimate force, the causation. That what causes things on regular occurrence. This is nature, natural. So we're natural people. And so we use the understanding and the wisdom of our ancestors and our elders that watched nature, and they watched nature so great that they built great African civilizations that it was the model for the world. So much so that people from around the world came, right, to see these great scientists, these great people. Here's the proof. In their white science books, they give black people credit. Here you go. White science, that's what y'all claim, which is retarded. Look at that. Can we see this?
I see it.
Heretic. What does this say? And what y'all miscall white science? This says a reference. Reference. What are they using as a reference? Look how big it is. Reference. What are they using? It says, watch this, the Edmund Smith papyrus, written in an ancient Egyptian script, 1900 to 1600 BCE, is the earliest known medical literature. You hear that? Literature, writing, reading, right? Reading is fundamental. Consisting of 48 case histories, it describes the conditions, the diagnosis, and the treatment in a rational and systematic way. This is in Africa. This is amongst your brothers and sisters. These are the first scientists. They're observing the world and figuring out cures in a rational way. How did they do it? By studying nature. Nature has all the cures. In science, you cannot defeat science. Science can only be defeated with science. Somebody comes with a better explanation of natural forces. For the life of me, I do not understand why people keep trying to fight against science. You will lose every time. Watch this. Easy. Simple. So you come right here, and it talks about the crucible. You know what a crucible is? A milestone. It's talking about a milestone, right? A milestone is like a starting point. Like this is a rock, a milestone is where you come to a point of learning. Look, watch this. It says, for millennia, humans have been trying to understand and treat every manner of body ailments. Here are a few examples of achievement. Medical first along the way. So let's see who was first along the way, according to the white man's science. Let's see if the white man's science give credit to the black scientists. Let's see real fast. I'm gonna hurry this up. It says 2650 BCE, right? It says, Imhotep, one of the first physicians known by name and the father of Egyptian medicine. Is really the father of European medicine. Wasn't the father of Egyptian medicine, because we can talk about Merit Patel, but hold on. Goes on to say, is born. Surviving papyri indicate much earlier origin of Egyptian medical knowledge. Then he goes on to the Chinese at 1000 BCE. Right? So they're giving credit to these scientists that started medicine right here, right? So let's give credit to the sisterhood, Merit Patel. She's a gynecologist, and she predates Imhotep. She's the physician of the royal court, the chief physician. This is in a time when women, you know what I'm saying, in other parts of the world, right, wasn't given a chance to do any of that. So, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad y'all got these classes coming on, sis, to actually deal with the sisterhood, to kind of teach them. But in Mama Africa, you know what I'm saying, at about 2000, 700 BCE, black women were the chief physicians of the royal court. I just want to put that out there. And I hate to tell you that science, that medicine is science. So I don't understand the white man's science, because we can make the case for the black science now, couldn't we, if we wanted to? But we're not going to do that. But go ahead.
Absolutely. No, but absolutely, brother. And I just wanted to add to the bill. I remember a long time ago, you introduced reference to the man God, and Jackson. He devoted a whole chapter, entire chapter, matter of fact, chapter 6, to the worship of nature. And he tells us in this chapter that that's the oldest form of religion. All right. It says that the worship of nature, he said, is based on the personification of natural phenomenon. It says, for the men and women of olden times personified the various objects and forces of nature and worship them as gods. Brother, what is that? That's science, right? This is the systematic study of the physical and natural world, right? So he says that they personified and they worship objects and forces of nature, okay? He goes on to say that terrestrial gods seem to be older than celestial deities. So he mentions the Winnebago Indians, the Meridians. He says the Indians of Peru, the ancient Egyptians. He said an ancient Sumer and Dravidians, India. He goes on to talk about the Babylonians, the Sumerians. All right. So throughout this chapter, he's naming different ethnic groups who worship, who study and worship nature. And so this is science. So I don't understand for the life of me how Ali Muhammad can run around here and say that, you know, that we teach white man science, or even that there's even a thing or such thing as white man science. There's no such thing as white man science, but what there is a such thing as is worldview. So when you do study science, as Brother Ong stated earlier, yes, there can be some scientific bias introduced, but it's introduced because of your worldview, the European worldview. And when the Alma Raw Squad studies and teaches science, we're studying and teaching science, as Sister Naya said, using Afrocentric methodologies, i.e. methodologies that are based on an African worldview. So what is an African worldview, family? Let's go to Dr. Kobe Cambon's book, The African Personality in America, an African-centered framework. He provides us with a great, I don't want to say a great, what is this? Okay, yes, I'm sorry. A glossary at the end of the textbook. And he defines a lot of terms. And in his glossary, he defines African worldview. And he says that an African worldview is the conceptual ideological framework derived from African cosmology. I want to say that again. An African worldview is the conceptual ideological framework derived from an African cosmology, which projects African reality, history, culture, philosophy, ontology, axiology, science as the center of the universe. It represents the African survival thrust of spiritualism, collectivism, interconnectedness, and harmony with nature inherent with African cosmology. So when we study science, we study science using Afrocentric approaches, which are based on an African cosmology, which is derived from or based on an African worldview. Just wanted to say that, Brother Uncle Cat.
Ooh-wee. Boy.
Got him on fire. So, yeah, that's deep. You know, after hearing that, Dr. Mayat, I realize they just say that because they're thoroughly defeated. But go ahead, Naya.
Yeah, I think when we look at the psychology behind it, and when we're looking at why and how Alma Squad was formed, to fight against pseudoism, and Ali comes out of Islam, and I think that it's a real threat to be Afrocentric and to use African-centered methodology, because what the purpose of Afrocentric methodology is, basically the goal is to fix the disorientation that comes as a result of Abrahamic faith. So Afrocentrics, we want to center ourselves in indigenous African culture at its height, you know, timid, West African at its height, and we want to center ourselves, and we want to understand the psychology behind Africans. We want to understand the science behind Africans. And so when we do that, then it's a threat to the Abrahamic faith. So let's be clear. When Muhammad is saying that Amaran Squad is teaching white science, what he's really saying is that Amaran Squad is teaching Afrocentric science. And it is directly in opposition to the Abrahamic faith, which he teaches, by the way, in his paradigm. So if you ever get a chance to get this book, Afrocentricity, by Asante, he really goes in detail the framework, and he talks about what it is and what it's not, and the goals of Afrocentricity, because it's very important that we understand the psychology behind the white man science argument, because what they're really saying is that they don't want accountability. They don't want a community. They just want to be able to tell you whatever they want to tell you at that time, and they don't want any accountability. As opposed to Amaran Squad, the things that we're saying, the things that we're teaching, there's accountability to it. And when you look at the scientific method, what it starts off with is just a brief observation. And when you look at the natural world, if I go out and I make a observation and I say, wow, it looks dark outside. And then I go and I walk and it's dark outside, the sun is down, that's my observation. We should be able to test our observations over and over again. Once them and know that they're true, they turn into hypothesis. So the hypothesis is the explanation of the observation. And what science is saying is that within science, they can test the observations that we make over and over again, and we can get the same results. And so that's a threat to the Abrahamic faith, because they want you to just believe what they're telling you is true. And so when you're looking at that psychology, you got to know that he feels threatened by what he called Afropine science, because he's saying that we're repeating it. But both Unc and Dr. Ma'at demonstrated that we're repeating African science, which is the observation of the natural world. So we really got to be careful when we're listening to the people like this, especially when they're invested in the Abrahamic faith. Because remember that Amaran Squad was formed to combat a lot of the stuff that was going on, negative or the inaccurate information in the community, coming from a lot of people who were into the Abrahamic faith, which I don't have anything against Abrahamic faith. I think the brothers in the Nation of Islam may do well, but there is, I think inherently some things wrong with the type of information when it relates to science, when it comes to, evolution, when it comes to humans, and when it comes to Homo sapiens sapiens. There's some things that the brothers just don't understand, but that's okay, because we can correct that. Okay, somebody wants to say something? I'm just going on.
No, I was agreeing with you, sis. I was agreeing with you. I was just agreeing with you. That's all. Keep on going, Naya.
That's it. That's all I had to say. That's all I had to say. Uncle, want to jump in?
Look, there was a from brother. I was just chat with my Kaba. She wanted to know the question. Have we ever heard? I hear. Yeah, there we go. But he asked if we ever heard of scientific racism. So I'm just trying to figure out what the brother's question is, and I think that Uncle Cat mentioned that in the discussion. To come across biases and studying, and that's why I went into explaining, the African worldview and how we base our methodologies on, on the African worldview. And notice that we keep using the word methodology. Your methodology, whatever methodology that you employ to conduct your research, it should help you to identify biases and inconsistencies and stereotypes and emotional appeals. That all comes down to your method. You get what I'm saying, Brother Unc? Like, your method should allow you to identify these things. So I want to understand the brother's question. He was talking about scientific racism, and I want to know exactly what is his, what is his.
Well, we're gonna have. I want to have Solomon on the show, Brother Yakub, and they talk about that all the time. And so he wants to do a presentation on the Amara Squad platform because he thinks he can defeat nature. And so I'm gonna allow him to do that. And that's all they talk about is scientific racism, right? And that's cool. Like I tell them all the time, I say, man, I say it all the time, man. It's a book I got, Ebony and Ivory, and it talks about that. It talks about how they was teaching in Harvard and Yale, okay, that, black people came from gorillas. And we was half humans, right? And this is what they use to help them to, sugarcoat their way, right? And give the reason why that they was quote unquote enslaving us, right? And they actually taught this in science. And it's certain scientists that was actually talking about the skulls, and I forget this person's name, and he collected thousands of skulls. And he talked about how the European skull, was bigger than the African skull. He did all that. That's racism. White supremacy at an all-time high in science. But guess what? While he was doing all that, the same white boys, right, was saying, that's interesting to me. They was looking at it, double checking, right, and was going against that. So much so, right, that they overturned all that folly. So, like, who cares? The only way to catch the white boy lying, the only way to catch black people lying is through science and numbers, because white people will lie, black people might lie, but numbers don't lie. So you can forge different scientific journals and papers and fudge the numbers and do all of that, right? Because they still try to do that, but you're gonna get caught. You cannot defeat nature. Nature is the ultimate power of the power from the power of the power. She always reveals herself on regular occurrences. There is no getting around her. So you'll lie about Piltdown Man and Piltdown Europe. You'll say this is where humanity started at, right? The white man. Look up Piltdown Man, another form of scientific racism hoax, right? But in that same year that they was trying to reach their conclusions, you can go right to the Journal of Science and read the publication saying that no, that's a mantle of a mantle of a monkey and the skull of a human. So like 10 years later, they overturned that crap. But in the same year they was publishing Piltdown Man, and I'm gonna show it, right? Maybe not tonight, right? They was beating up on Piltdown Man as being inaccurate. So yes, we recognize the racism. This is the Amara Squad. We was built to fight against the racism, white supremacy. But I tell you what, I beat the hell out of some black people promoting racism, white supremacy, and don't even know it. What's the racism, white supremacy y'all promoting? That Mother Nature don't know what she's talking about. That we're not smart enough to look at nature and say, see, I caught you. That we're just dumb. That because you're black, we're going to automatically believe you. That's racism, white supremacy that make you think because a person has a black skin, right, that they're all of a sudden on your side. Nature don't tell you that, though. Nature tell you to judge every human being closely. That's what nature tell you. That the very person you might lie with might be the very person that stabbed you in the back. That's what living in the world show you. That you can be fooled by your own kind way quicker than you can be fooled by white people. Let's get that straight. Have you not looked at all the movements that have been brought down by black people, being coerced by white people? So you're going to put the blame on. So we'll use science. We'll use forensics for society. We'll use nature to tell the damn story. I'm not going to let y'all tell the story. See, so like, for instance, like this anthropology book, White Man's Science, it talks about pale skin, right? And it tells you that pale skin is more susceptible to diseases. This is white man's science, huh? But telling a black man's truth. And I find it to be very, very interesting. So we're totally familiar with racism. Racism, white supremacy don't stop at the door of science. Oh, I'm not going to be racist. I'm going to do the science. Well, what it does is it allows you to catch that folly right at the door. You can catch it. I can smell you. I see you. So now you got black people promoting the indigenous. So Brother Ali, as you claim to write a quote unquote dictionary on melanin, why use the word melanin? The word melanin is a Greek word. So you're right off the top using a Greek word, white people, but mad at me using the word Africa. Mad at me dealing with science and teaching people science. I find it to be very interesting, brother. How do you write an encyclopedia on melanin without getting the notes and the studies from white people or white science? Show me that. Show me a study done on you can't even call it melanin, right? Show me a study done on that, right? Let me see the numbers, right? Let me see the chemicals. Are you going to use chemicals? Are you going to use chemistry? You can't use none of that. You can't use none of that. Where's the brand new indigenous Quranic science that you claim? And it's folly because you claim that the indigenous books is the damn Quran. You have lost your mind, Ali Baba Muhammad. I see you. I see you. And you're a daggone fool to call out the squad? Really? How you going to do that? How you going to get around Mother Nature? I like to see it. Any day of the week, any time of the week, we waiting on you. You know what I'm saying? We'll leave the lights on for you. We'll be waiting. That goes to the Con Calloway. Con Calloway, you're a funny guy. You still have not addressed using white man science, right, on your website, ran by a white person. You haven't addressed that. You haven't addressed that. You actually go to, I ain't gonna lie, I don't mind you taking an article and not necessarily giving credit. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I'm fine with that. You took some white people shit and used it, you know what I'm saying, to try to, tell a story. I ain't mad at that. But I'm mad that you couldn't read the damn thing and comprehend it because it goes against everything that you said. You've not addressed that. You act like that didn't happen. And then the thousands of people that follow you, right? They don't even question that because it's the new religion, the new indigenous religion. We'll just make up anything. No checks and balances. We'll just run around, make up all kind of claims. You can go to the quote unquote fake indigenous people one by one, and they'll all have, see, this is why you need science. Watch this. They'll all have what they think indigenous people are. They all have something different. Oh, we started in America. Oh, we started in Africa. No, we got oh, we came on the ship. No, we didn't go on the ship. We popped. Oh, the Peru pyramids. Oh, the mountains. They'll say a million things, and none of they be beating up on Ali. Then Ali support. It's folly. See, this is what happened to white people. They was in the midst of folly. They said, "Man, we need to do something different because this is out of control. Let's go to Egypt and find out how they organized around science." Napoleon and the boys, they go there. The French, they go there. And what does Napoleon do? He takes a team of scientists with him to study the black scientists. The same thing that the Greeks did. They traveled the world and end up in Egypt to do what? To pray to the gods or to study the sciences, the technology. What was they learning? They was learning science and technology at the universities. Huh. Funny. So all the folly was fixed in the white community, right? Because they studied Africa. And they studied the method, the way of looking at nature. And they copied it and they used it, and now look at their civilizations. Why you say white man science, they say, shit, I'm going with this right here. They gave you religion. Watch this. They gave you religion and took your science, and now you call your science the white man science. I find that very funny. But tangle where we weave when we practice to deceive. Very interesting here. Few points made here, and none of them will address will address, right, the information that we put out. Nobody in the chat room going to do it. Oh, they talk crazy. Well, no one will slow the conversation down and say, Unc, this is why the out of Africa theory is wrong. No one can explain what a theory is when scientists use it. No, they just don't know. But nobody will slow down and say, hey, man, look, this is why the out of Africa theory is wrong. This is why the out of America theory is right. Here are the numbers, Brother Unc, Sister Naya, Dr. Oyama Yat, Brother Smash Rockwells, Brother Ben, Brother Nahisi, Brother Sanjeti, Brother Saul. These are the numbers. This is the information that refutes that. They can't do it. See, you know what I'm gonna do today, Dr. Mayat? I'm gonna take the fun out of it. I'm not gonna play fair today. This is what I'm saying. From this point on, if not biological evolution, then what? I need explanations. If you want a further conversation with me, I now officially need your explanation on who, what, when, where, and why. Don't play with me. Explain to me what bones have been found in North America, right, that date past 300,000 years. Explain to me what tool assemblages have been found in North America that date past 300,000 years. Explain to me what ships, what boats. I want the facts, I want the figures, I want the numbers, right? I want the dating what dating processes are you using, right, to prove and verify this? What review of the work has it been done by? Who did that? Who, what, when, where, and why? What college, what university, what black person? And you can't use white people. Don't you dare use white people in any part of your explanation on why the Native Americans, right, are the oldest people on planet Earth and they black people. Do not use white people anything. Now, checkmate where I'm from. So I'm going to sit back with nature in this big old African ship and I'm going to laugh at you. Ali Muhammad, explain to us, Ali Baba Muhammad. Explain to me why you are indigenous to North America without using any white people stuff. There you have it. Sister Naya. Phased out.
Sister Naya. There she is.
Dr. Mott, do you want to jump in and build on what not doctor, but he sounded like a doctor, Dr. Uncle Ken talked about? I'm gonna be like,
I wish I had one assigned that as bombs. You know how like when someone, lay out the fire, it's like nothing hit the bomb and the bomb will start exploding. I had a dad go bomb because he kind of like blew up the stage. So you said you want me to come behind that, Sister Naya?
Yep, I want the doctor to come in and just build after that.
No, I mean, Brother Arm made a good point. I mean, it boils down to the fact that they don't have a method, Sister Naya. I mean, you had these folks running around in this particular community making these dubious and foolish claims because they lack a research methodology and they also lack critical thinking skills. So I want to start by talking about, the skills that are associated with critical thinking. What I mean by the skills associated with critical thinking, I'm talking about your ability to be able to define a thesis or question, your ability to clarify criteria and or standards, right? All right, standards in the source, your ability to be able to gather accurate data, okay, reliable data, your ability to evaluate data, your ability to judge and define definitions. Remember, we were talking about that earlier, Brother Aunt, how people don't understand the ABCs. Remember, we were talking about that earlier. You were saying, Doc, we want to give them this work. We want to give them this work. They don't understand the basics, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
They lack the ability to define and judge just basic definition of terms, okay? Other skills related with critical thinking you have, and I'm looking at my screen right here, I have up your ability to evaluate theses or questions relative to data, your ability to detect bias and inconsistency, stereotypes, emotional appeals, your ability to distinguish fact from opinion, cause from effect, your ability to identify assumptions, your ability to identify logical fallacies, right? Your ability to make judgments, right? After considering all of the relevant evidence. So these are the skills, brother, that are associated with critical thinking. So a lot of folks are running around here making foolish claims. And then you have people in the community who believe these foolish claims because we're not employing or using critical thinking skills. Brother, you didn't lay back. You didn't hear me.
I heard you, but some kind of way my mic mysteriously keep jumping on mute, so it break. I can't just jump. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? I don't know.
But yeah, I was saying, brother, I'm trying to make the point that I said that people are in the community making devious claims, foolish claims. I said because they lack critical thinking skills, and then you have folks who believe these foolish claims because they also lack critical thinking skills. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's crazy. So, well, I think it's worse than that.
You think it's worse than that?
Yeah, I think they're lying because it's the new religion of consciousness, and you have charismatic leaders. It's just like the church got different. It's all different types of churches in the world now, all different types of sects. So this is what the conscious community is now. It's the religion. You have charismatic leaders. You have information that cannot be verified and proven at all. You have large numbers of people following it blindly. So for instance, if we had large crowds, I would be scared, right? Because that means we really don't have that homework. Whatever we got, you can't get what we got in 5 minutes off a YouTube video or watch YouTube videos every day.
Brother Uncle, if they're following blindly, that means that they're not employing critical thinking skills. So you're saying that the people that are putting these claims out there, they're just blatantly lying, right? They're just blatantly lying.
They're lying, and like people follow religion.
Mm-hmm.
You know how people follow religion?
But then that means you're not employing critical thinking skills.
So you think that's what it is? It's interesting, Doc. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. I mean, I would say it, right? When you look at your mother, your grandmother, and my aunts and them, and I say you're not employing critical thinking skills.
Brother, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't put it in that context, brother.
You can't say it. You can't. We know it's the truth, but you can't say it. You're absolutely right, Doc. They're not employing that, but it's not to their benefit to employ critical thinking skills. How about that? Doesn't benefit them. It doesn't benefit the people that follow pseudoisms, the people that promote pseudoisms. It doesn't. They will lose their whole audience because how many years did it take for you to get your doctorate?
I did 4 years undergrad, and I went straight through. Actually, went straight through a break in 2007. So I started my journey in 1999. Took a break in 2007, so that's like 8 years. And then I took a break for about 2 or 3 years, and then back and came out in 2013. So it took me a while to go from the bachelor's to the PhD. But I did that. I definitely took a break. I took a break in between.
See that? So, Sister Naya.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
How long did it take you to get your master's?
Only 2 years. I have 2 masters though. I have an MBA and I have a
only 2 years.
I have an MBA and I have a psychology degree. So 4 years all.
So before that, how many years did it take you to get to your master's?
2 bachelor's and 1 master's and 2 years to get another master's. But I'm a clinician, so it took me 2 years in clinical practice to the life person before I can get licensed. So it took me about 6 years.
How many people making the claim of indigenous Americans got 6, 7 years of their life to really go into the real study of that to figure out what it is? to show the real love for their people. How many of them can do it, y'all? They can't do it. They can't do it. Matter of fact, they won't do it because they would lose all their followers. They would have to tell their followers, you know what, y'all, I was wrong. I was wrong. They would have to, because they couldn't go up against, first of all, they can't challenge the Umbrella Squad, but they sure as hell can't challenge the quote unquote white man science with that follower they have. They can't do it. Take too much time, too much effort. You know what I'm saying? They just couldn't do it. So I love Dr. Ben. You know, she got Diob's Chancellor Williams. You know what I'm saying? John Jackson, because they challenged the Europeans, so much so that the Europeans end up being in alignment with them. That's how serious it is around here. Crazy to me. Right. They don't. So my point I'm saying all that is that you can't get what we got overnight. You know what I'm saying? You just can't get that. It takes time. You know what I'm saying? I've been studying this thing for the last 18 years. 18 years. Reading every college book I can find. Going to every library, museum libraries, reading books. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even need glasses. Now I need glasses. Build my library. Time, money, reading every day. Keeping a dictionary with me. I got dictionaries bigger than any book y'all ever seen. I got dictionaries this damn big. You see that up there? That's a damn dictionary. Oh, hold on. Y'all think it's a game around here, see? See what I'm saying? They think it's a joke. It ain't no damn joke. This ain't no joke. Not no joke. Man, I got dictionaries bigger than y'all damn. Look at this. This ain't no joke. Look at this, Doc. Look at this. It's a damn dictionary, a Webster. How many got a Webster this damn big? It's a dictionary. See that? Hardcover. Right. You know what I mean? Etymology dictionaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. This ain't free. Yeah, look. Why y'all playing? Why y'all acting crazy? Why y'all think y'all know something? Look, man, I ain't got no little dictionaries, man. Y'all tripping, man. Y'all be tripping.
And Uncle, I wanted to say something too about the process of education and science. There's actually two processes. So there's the process by which you are gathering information to help improve your knowledge base so you can have enough information to be able to make rational decisions. And then it's the process where you learn to think. For me, the aspect is not necessarily the information part of it. The information is critical because it allows you to make points and to be able to back up your observations. But the most important thing about science is the process. When you look at the scientific method, is that it helps you to become a better thinker. If you look at our species, Homo sapiens sapien, we spend 9 months in the womb, and that's a very long time for a species. And the reason why we spend so much time, because it takes us a longer time to develop, and that has consequence. The frontal lobe part of our brains, which has to do with the executive functioning, which helps you to think critically about things, that doesn't develop until you're 21. So between the time that you're 0 to 21, not a lot of critical thinking and the functioning going on. You're primarily going off of your emotions, your feelings, your impulses, your intuition. As you get older, you become a better thinking. And what science does through the process of reading, which is very critical, the most important part of science is the reading component, because it helps to feed your executive functioning, and it allows you to become a better thinker, a better speaker, a better writer. That's when you begin to develop skills. When you're not reading, and when you're not evaluating, and when you're not analyzing information, you are not feeding the part of your brain that requires that in order to be a good thinker.
That's a fact.
So basically you are behind at 21, 22 because your brain just started, your executive function just tapped in, was like, oh, I'm starting to think now. But when you're not reading and you're not studying and you're not learning to read science, because science has statistics. So that means you got to know how to read numbers. You got to be good with math, right? When you're not doing these things, you're not feeding your brain. Yes, you may be good at a lot of the emotionalism. Yes, you can, talk well. And yes, you can rap and sing and dance and be that. But also you want to feed your executive functioning. And that's one of the most important aspects of science to me. Because the reason why we call ourselves conscious is because we become aware of who we are. We become aware of our thoughts. We become aware of our feelings and our perceptions. So science helps you with that. That's why a lot of times these ABOs and these indigenous people, you can see them making lots of little small errors in their logic and their thinking, because you can tell that they're not feeding the part of the brain that requires critical thinking and it requires reading, to be able to use critical thinking skills. So it's a two-part benefit to science. Yes, you learn the facts. That's good, learning facts, but also you're feeding the brain, you're feeding your executive function, which helps you to become a better thinker and a better communicator. And when you're thinking, right, you're going to make better decisions for yourself, for your family, for your community. When you go and you listen to the brothers who are in jail, who are locked up, who are in prison, a lot of times the reason why they're there is because they made bad decisions. And when they get in prison, they start to think and they begin to cultivate their brain. That's why you have brothers come out who are brilliant, because they have that time to cultivate themselves. Our species need time to learn, and you cannot get past it. You can't fool people. That's why Brother Sarah say, when somebody really don't know what they're talking about, because they use all this scientific jargon. It's illogical. It does not make sense. So listen to the Aboriginals, right? And you see a lot of times that they're not making sense. Point being, for an example, with Brother Ali Muhammad, the brother sat there, which he's very articulate, he's smart, so I'm not saying that he hasn't developed his frontal lobe, because he's clearly an intelligent brother, but he is pleading to you that Amaran Squad is teaching white man science because it's in opposition of his religious belief. That is what he's saying. He read an article. He claimed that it was the foundation of science, which it is not. It's universally, including Darwin, reject the notion that dark skin came about as a result of skin cancer. The person who wrote that article presented a hypothesis that was rejected. But in order to understand the articles and the research, right, you got to have some critical thinking skills. So just remember, with science, the information is good, but the practice is better. When you practice something, you become efficient. And thinking requires practice.
And Sister Mike. Thank you, Brother. I just wanted to add to what you were saying, Sister Naya, when you were talking about, the poor conditioning of the poor programming of the frontal regions of the brain. In Dr. Amos Wilson's book, The Developmental Psychology of the Black Child, he refers to what you were talking about as the psychogenic brain damage. Okay, I'm on page 103. I know you got it, Queen. On page 103, he says, it is our contention that within certain social cultural contexts, the presence or absence of certain psychological experiences right? You were talking about reading, can have the same effect on a person's behavior as if actual physical damage to a particular area of the brain had occurred. So he says, in other words, poor programming of or socialization of the frontal regions of the brain produces behavior. He's talking about mental behavior also, which is equivalent or similar to actual brain damage in the same reasons. So he says that our concept of psychogenic brain damage concerns itself mainly with the deleterious effects of the failure of properly programming during sensitive periods of the child's development of his frontal lobe, which prevents him from behaving in an appropriate social and intellectual manner. While this failure of proper programming may or may not affect the normal growth and development of neural connections, it certainly causes the frontal lobes to behave as if they have been incompletely developed, damaged, or surgically disconnected from the rest of the brain, which it is responsible for regulating so that certain behavioral ends may be achieved. So, sis, what you were talking about is psychogenic brain damage. So I just wanted to add that to what you were saying.
Right. And since it presents itself, so it presents itself like illiteracy. That's what it looks like. It looks like illiteracy. These people, they may not be able to speak. And when they conduct these IQ tests, you'll see that they will score, Black children sometimes will score lower because the brain hasn't been developed. And so we have to be aware that when Amaran Squad is talking about science, like some of us love to talk about evolution. Brother Unc loves to talk about evolution. But when we're talking about science, we're talking about science methods and research and things that help you to think, to become a better problem solver, so you can be able to address the issues in our community. It's not always just about info wars. It's about growing and learning and evolving into a human being that can use his brain and make good decisions in his community. You want to say something, brother?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to say back to the Ali in that particular article, and you make a great point. But let's look at the fine details here for a moment. When you look at the National Geographical article that he pulled up, and you click the source is actually, right, the actual work that the scientist, that the person that wrote the blog is talking about. I'm gonna say this again. Let me show you how unscientifically literate the brother is, no matter what he says, through all his big words and terminology. When you pulled up the National Geographical article, right, you should immediately went to the source and read the source to us, because the source actually starts out with a research question. Do you see what I'm saying? It does not start off saying this is a fact or this is what it is. It's simply a research question that the particular scientist is trying to answer. And he doesn't even explain this to us. He gives us the National Geographic paper talking about the real homework. He's doing it on purpose, y'all. Has to be that. Click the link and it would clearly say a question. It's a question, right? And as a matter of fact, like Sister Naya said, that particular question, right, has been thoroughly defeated and overturned. Plain and simple. Like, one of the reasons is, right, which the scientist was trying to defeat in his paper, right, is that people get cancer later on in life, right? And if you understand biological human evolution, right, transformations occur, right, or certain traits are selected, right, based off of the fact that these traits give the living organism, whether it be a tree, a bird, a bee, a fly, you know what I'm saying, a virus, whatever, gives that particular living organism a chance to make it to the age of reproduction. This is why these traits are selected. And so cancer couldn't have been had. because people get cancer later on in life, well after the years of reproduction. That's a simple thing that being scientifically literate on this particular subject would have helped that brother. But he didn't get it. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying he too goddamn smart not to see it. He just flim-flamming. Plain and simple. He flim-flamming with the information because he wants you to follow the indigenous. You talk about the white man science and bring a damn machine made by a white person on the daggone show. Crazy. A machine to measure, man, it's just crazy. The whole thing is folly. Like I said, I'm proud of the 78 people watching. I don't expect to have 3,000 people watching this. Not at all. Don't expect it. You know what I'm saying? If I did, something be wrong. Because it takes hard work to get what we got. Anybody can't have this. See what I'm saying? Everybody can't have this. But anybody can get it, though. Anybody can get it. Trust me. Keep working. It works when you work it.
Right. And so part of that, all research starts with a question. So that's a great point, brother. All research starts with a question. And that's like the beginning of the process, is the question. And then you want to look and you want to observe the world around you. And a lot of us were making these observations about the world, like the first Americans were Black, the first Americans had wide noses, the first Americans, had dark skin. But that's just your observation. Once you have your observation, you're required to develop a hypothesis and explain why that is. Once you explain, you have to set up tests and experiments. If your tests and your experiments fail, then it's likely that your hypothesis is not correct. There's the going explanation for dark skin is detailed, okay? It has absolutely nothing to do with cancer. It has to do with UVA, radiation, diet, and environmental factors. That's what scientists are saying. Scientists already know that when you look at the early Homo sapiens, they would have been diverse just like we are. You see my color, you see Dr. Ma'at color, you see Unc's color. We are diverse people, so we come in all shades and colors. So this particular science was looking for skin cancer as the rationale for dark skin, but he could not prove it. The consensus in the scientific world. If you need more information on the consensus, you can look at folate, you can look at diet, you can look at everything. But the early hominids would have been light-skinned, some of them would have been light-skinned, some of them would have been dark-skinned, some of them would have been my color, Because you look at our earliest cousins, when you got looking at the chimps, you got the light-skinned ones and you got the dark-skinned ones. So anything to do with hominids is going to be a hypothesis, and it's not going to be something that you can just automatically prove. So one of the things that pseudos and people who practice pseudoscience is they're going to try to appeal to your emotions, because we've been through trauma. We are traumatized, and so we have seen the devastating impacts of science, whether it's in gynecology, whether it's in psychology, whether it's in education. We've seen what science can do to Black people. And so Ali Muhammad, what he does, he appeals to that, right?
Yes.
But that's not fair, because as we demonstrated earlier, is that Africans, ancient Egyptians, ancient Kemetic people in Africa use science. Black people are the most observant people in the universe. Like, we observe, we don't miss nothing. You can't put anything past us, okay? So we're using science every day. If you go into your car and you turn on the ignition and it doesn't start, you're going to make an observation. I wonder what it is. You're going to walk out the car. You're going to pull up the hood. You're going to look at the battery. You're going to look at the thing. What's going on? This is science. You're observing the natural world. White people put it into a method and they rationalize it, but it doesn't change that it's a natural process, and we do it every single day. So y'all gotta stop giving credit to giving our sciences to white people because you're too lazy to study and research and read and understand. That's not being competitive. You cannot defeat racism and white supremacy through praying, marching. You can't defeat racism like that. You gotta be able to think. We can't pray this situation away. God not coming down to help us. We're gonna have to help ourselves. So you better learn how to think. You know?
Hamna.
What you say, humana?
Funny.
I'm done preaching.
You said you can't pray this. You can't pray yourself out this situation.
No, we can't pray ourselves out this situation. You gotta learn how to think. You gotta devise plans. You gotta know how to use technology. You gotta build technology. You gotta build weapons, build homes. Say that. Build stuff. That's my dad. Say hi to the camera, Dad. Hey. That's my dad.
Hey, look, Sister Nice. Hey, look, so check this out. We say that, well, now, can you hear me, sis?
I can hear you. What you say?
Yeah, I said Ali Muhammad, you said that we were practicing white man science, right? And remember, I was saying earlier that it's like a smack in the face to call it white man science, when in actuality, our ancestors were, they were scientists. Now, the first pale face emerged around 8,000 years ago. Is that not correct, Sister Naya? About 8,000, 9,000 years ago?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, well, let's read something out of Dr. Ifa Kilimanjaro and Dr. Tadika Kilimanjaro's work. I'm looking at SEBA, a research handbook. I'm on page 17. Chapter 1, he says, what is research? In the second paragraph, he says, scientific inquiry has emerged over many millennia. I'm gonna say that again. Scientific inquiry has emerged over many millennia. And now he's going into the evolution of science. He says that it has moved rather unceremoniously from blind appeals to tradition and authority in antiquity to philosophical reasoning according to the rules of formal logic. Next, what became science moved to intuitive thought, wherein truths external to the mind were thought to be known independently of observation and experience. Then to mathematical representation generated by induction from data, and recently to hypotheses tested by matching theory against data to control experimental assessments within laboratory investments. All right, says, so he went into the whole evolution of science. But the point that I'm trying to make is that even scientific inquiry, it emerged many, he says, many millennia, over many millennia. So we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, okay? And the first pale skin came on the scene 8,000, 9,000 years ago. So science is nothing new. There's no such thing as the white man science or white science. So I just wanted to add that to the bill. Sister Nye?
Yeah, I'm here. That's a good point.
All right.
Yeah, so Dr. Mott, I know with your doctorate in engineering, do you guys go into the history of engineering?
Crazy.
And how it was developed, and do you guys learn about like the founders of that? You know, can you talk about that?
No. I took a class called Intro to Engineering, and what they focused on really, Sister Naya, was critical thinking and problem solving. You know, every freshman has to take this class over at Morgan. It was a class that was taught by Dr. John Wheatland. He's retired now. Good brother. But what we learned, we didn't go through the history of engineering, but what we learned was what engineering was. A lot of us, we said we wanted to be engineers, but we didn't understand what engineering was. And in that class, we learned that engineering is, I don't want to say simply the application of mathematics and science, but it is the application of mathematics and science, that engineers use math and science to solve problems. So what we did in that class was we learned what engineering entailed, and it entails critical thinking. And it entails for you to be, it calls for you to be meticulous, to pay attention to detail, to problem solve. And so that's what we found out in Intro to Engineering. But they didn't go through the history of engineering at all. They just talked about what it entailed and taught us critical thinking skills and how to problem solve.
Yeah. Right, and that's what I see in my education. That was probably the most valuable thing for me, is teaching me how to think and to be able to reason, to be able to write and think about, you know, the information. So I think that we have to make sure that when we're conceptualizing and talking about science, that we understand that we're talking about how to think. And science helps us to know what we know. You know, as African people, we're deeply spiritual. And no one on the Armor Squad is telling you not to be spiritual and not to pray to your gods and not to listen to the ancestors and not to repeat the story of creation. Nobody's telling you that. In Africa, everything is everything. We don't have to set up dichotomies and him against her type scenarios in African psychology or Afro, because we can have science and we can have mythology and Afrocentric thought. We don't have to fight. We don't have to butt heads on that. There's room for everyone in our sciences. So it's important that we're not creating these dichotomies, these false dichotomies, and we're not are silly in the root of who we are, the people who understand science and mythology. So there's no fighting amongst us in terms of that. Did we cover everything?
Just about. I got a question for, there was someone in the chat room, Libra Sun. I wanted to know what Libra Sun said that I was incorrect about. I was reading through the comments, and he said, or she said, that I was incorrect about something. So I want to address that live.
Yeah.
So please, Libra Sun, what was I incorrect about? I want to address that live.
The Libra is in the second retrograde in the moon.
Oh, so Monica said, get him, Dr. Myers. So it's a him. So brother Libra, what was I wrong about?
Dr. Maya, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
I'm trying to, you know what I'm looking for right now?
What?
I got a trade magazine, an engineering trade magazine. You know, Eastfield have, you know, a lot of trade magazines. And on the cover, they talking about the damn Egyptians, right? And how, and, you know what I mean? And their engineering, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with friction, you know what I'm saying? How they move stones. You know what I'm saying? It's an engineering magazine. I'm looking for that. You feel me?
Got you. I was up here looking at this chat room. Sister Kyla said it could be a female. Who knows?
Right. Don't tell me what they.
So I guess it was a troll. It might have been a troll. So he or she didn't pose their question, or or elaborate on what I was allegedly wrong about. So I keep it moving.
They say anything.
Dr. Ma, you did a presentation on Sonetta TV too on mathematics. With the Egyptians, how they were using the what is that tool they were using? The early first Homo sapiens sapiens in South Africa, when they were counting the woman's menstrual cycle.
So we're talking about the Shango and the Lambambo bone.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Oh man, Sister Naya.
Free. Hold on. Hey, Dr. Oh yeah, I remember you was talking about Naya asked you, did y'all talk about the origins of engineering in your engineering class, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, here's something for y'all. This is in physics today, all right? September 1998. Okay, and it's dealing with rubbing and scrubbing, right? On the picture, you got some Nubians, right? And they're actually moving this particular rock using a substance, rock, okay? It's really an engineering marvel. It's dealing with lubrication and friction. Through simple, it says, they'll simply express the laws of friction. Okay. Let me see. Hold on. Let me find this real fast here. Laws of friction. They talk about Earl start on them, but they come right back to the Nile Valley. Right? And it's in the trade magazine. All right. You know, so I mean, my focus was in the physics magazine. But the point is, the scientific community, they do not leave you out of here. That's why we need more scientists that are dedicated to dealing with the African approach and understanding the worldview, right? To bring these types of things out. But they do it because they got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, where'd you get it from? Because somebody go, hey, where'd you get that from? Right? And so science started, you know what I'm saying, with the first Homo sapiens sapiens. It's clear they wouldn't have made it without science. Feel me? So yeah, but go ahead, Dr. Man. Go ahead and what was the question you wanted, Naya?
I was just saying when we were kind of establishing that science originates in Africa, and I was just referencing Dr. Ma'at's presentation she did on Sonetta TV when she was talking about the Shango bone, and I just wanted to see if she can just briefly talk about that, just to give the people a presentation so they can understand it. Dr. Ma'at, you got to take yourself off from mute too.
Okay, I just did, sis. I want to bring it up so they can see it.
That baboon bone, huh?
Yeah, we were talking about the Lumbambo baboon. You remember, brother? You actually threw me this bone, literally, the Lumbambo bone. The Lumbambo bone that they found, and matter of fact, it's 37,000 years ago. They found it near the border cave in Lumbambo Mountains, between South Africa and Swaziland. They found it around 1930 and 1940s. Okay. So the bone is right now is in the McGregor Museum in South Africa. So I talked about this. I also talked about the Shango bone, which is 20,000 years old. And this bone can be found in the Royal Belgian Institute of Natural Sciences. And this was found somewhere in I believe in the Congo region, around the 1930s, around the 1930s. All right, so we talked about that. Now look at this, 20,000 years ago, 37,000 years ago, you know, our ancestors were using mathematics. And what is mathematics, Brother Ankh? What is mathematics? Brother Ankh, what is this right here, Brother Ankh? The Rhine mathematical papyrus. And the first line, and this translation was provided to me by Brother Wujaru. In the first line of the Rhine's mathematical papyrus, it says, or the author says, that mathematics is the correct method of investigating nature to know all that exists, all mystery, and all things secret. So mathematics is a method that allows us to investigate nature, to study nature. So here it is. I'm showing you guys a bone that is 37,000 years old. One is 37,000 years old. The other one is 20,000 years old. So this is math. Okay. So what were they doing with this math? They were using this math as a method to study nature. So our ancestors were practicing science thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. And also, brother, I want them to grab this book if they can, because this is a good book. Hold on. They want to learn more. If they want to learn more about it, Hold on. I want them to, let me grab this book right here.
It's funny, Doc. They wouldn't have made it if they didn't have science. They wouldn't have made it. You can't pray your way through nature.
Not at all.
You got to get out of this thinking that science is our enemy. Science has always been something that we use to help us to navigate our natural world.
Our elder, Dr. Charles Finch, he has a book out called The Star of Deep Beginnings, The Genesis of African Science and Technology. Grab this book, family. Yeah, grab this book. It's called The Star of Deep Beginnings, The Genesis of African Science and Technology by Dr. Charles Finch, who is a medical doctor, by the way. In this book, he talks about the lumbambo bone and the Ashango bone. So if you want more information, Brother On got it. So if you want more information on what I just covered, you can grab this book by Dr. Charles Finch.
Oh man, like calendar systems. Come on, like man, like I tell you, and I think I got dropped off the call a minute ago, didn't I?
Yeah, you were gone for about 5 minutes.
Right, because I was running my mouth thinking I was live. I wasn't live. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I was unalive. What I was talking about was Ali Muhammad and how he does the exact same thing that preachers do. When you talked about the fractured consciousness, and I'm glad you always attack it from a mental approach, because that's exactly what it is. So the question is, how can a person with such intelligence, right, actually tap out when it comes to science? Either he trying to get you and fake you out, you know what I'm saying? Or his consciousness is just that fractured that he hate white people so much that he can't even enjoy the sciences that our ancestors brought, right? And so what the preacher does, the preacher actually works on your ignorance. Based off you not understanding historical understanding of religion, times, places, names, dates, right? They take advantage of that. He does the same thing. He already knows you don't understand human evolution, because if you did, you wouldn't fight against it. Biological human evolution is an African story, and how the first people on planet Earth traversed around the planet and defeated, right, different environments by hook or crook. This is exactly what the story is. So evolution is really the story of African people and how they mutate over time and transform off of the continent of Africa too. So it behooves me, right? And they're taking advantage of you, like Sister Naya said. They're taking advantage of your ignorance. Oh,
Sister Naya, is that him or is it my laptop?
I think that's Brother laptop. Brother your laptop is getting out on us, brother. Your computer's blowing up. Yeah, you definitely frozen.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you down when you say, "Can you hear me now?" But you were sounding like a computer.
Yep.
So
we can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you now, but I didn't hear what you just said.
So I was basically saying that Ali Muhammad is like the preacher. He takes advantage of your lack of knowledge on said subject matter. He knows just a little bit more than you. So the preacher takes advantage of you not understanding history.
So as you can see, we have some technical difficulties with Brother Unk's internet, but I think that we covered a wide range of topics. I think the purpose of this hangout is to address, the claim that Amara Squad teaches white man science or Afro-European science. I think that we established that science was used way before the white man. I think we established the ancient Kemetic people taught science. I think we established that math was taught in Kemet. We established a lot of different things, and we also established that, you know, science is ours. I mean, we're the first people, we're the first civilization, and we definitely needed it to build pyramids.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, now I'm sitting over here thinking, you know, you guys see, you know, when you start talking about science now, you know, I start looking at stuff, and I'm going back to my old presentation, and I'm looking at how, I mean, look at this stuff right here. So this is a wall painting in the ancient tomb of Jehudi Hotep that dates back to 1900 BCE, right? And this is a closer, you know,
Wow.
you see this. But look at what's going on here, sis. And now this is what Brother Ankh was trying to talk about, the physics behind it, how in order to move like large statues, they will pour water to wet the sand, and then the men will haul it on a sled. But do you see what's going on? I see physics when I look at this photo. I see physics. I see mechanical engineering going on, sis. I see civil engineering when I look at this. And all of this is science. I mean, this is science. So just wanted to show that to the family also. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on. Like Brother Ankh said, I mean, you know, we could get into calendars and how our ancestors developed calendars. I mean, this is all science. Brother Ankh mentioned the different the different medical papyri. I think he mentioned the Edwin, Brother Ankh, was it?
Yeah, Edwin Smith.
But it was the Edwin Smith papyri, but they had several more. Hold on, let me get the names for you. There were several other scientific papyri. Okay, so you had the Edwin Smith papyrus or papyrus, which dates back to the 16th to the 17th dynasty. You also have the Smith papyrus, which deals with bone surgery and external pathology. You also have the Carlsberg papyrus, which dates back to 2000 BCE, which deals with eye disease and pregnancies, right? You had the Pushkin, and some of the stuff is in Pushkin State Museum. Okay, so you had these different papyri. I mean, you had the Smith, the Edwin Smith, and the Carlsberg. And this stuff is almost 4,000 years old, you know. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like you said, Brother Ankh, if we wanted to, we could make a strong case for African science or Black science, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
Well, what about the Kepra, like the dung beetle? Wasn't they studying the dung beetle to try to figure out how life, like the evolution of life? What were they doing with that specifically?
All right, good point. And I argued with MBK member over, they couldn't get it, right? MBK group couldn't get it. Now they supposed to be smart, right? And they supposed to really know what the hell they talking about. But they're scientifically illiterate. I don't understand that. How is it that a group that claims to be so intelligent don't have a person around them that would help them? I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get that. How do you not understand that? So we have allowed Europeans, watch this. I'm not even going to say Europeans. I'm going to say the lack of reading. Okay? Charles Darwin talks about natural selection. He's not the father of evolution, right? That's not it. That's people just talking. He's the father of natural selection, so they say. What is natural selection? Simply put, an organism is transformed in its environment. So for instance, if you was to start off in Maine and drive down the coast all the way to Florida, you would see different plant life. Up north, by the time you get down south, right, close to the equator, the plant life would be different. Why? Why are there now different trees in Florida as opposed to the trees that are up in Maine and Canada? Why? Why are there white rabbits, right, in Canada, you know what I'm saying, Why is polar bears in the South Pole, but by the time you get to the United States, right, you get brown bears? Why? A bear is a bear, right? Why ain't the polar bear in North America? You can't see my camera?
No, I was telling, yeah, not on. Oh, okay, yeah, I see it now. I see it.
Why? Why? Why are there palm trees not sitting in the middle of the daggone Canada? Why you have different types of roses, that winter roses that actually grow in winter regions?
Oh,
Brown bear. Why? Why? So what's the makes you think why the polar and why have you allowed racism to power? This option. Why have you allowed racism? All animals so much smarter than you are now. Why have you allowed the European to take your science and use it to thrive? How can evolution be real? How can groups that are formed, study groups that are formed, why they all go against that? MBK point. Why against the lie with the truth? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? It is think that you're not a polar bear. Crazy. It is totally. No one wants to face reality.
Okay.
That
All
we're
right.
no more different than any living organism.
Og is going in.
It's not. It's you know what. You know what. You know what. You put
No,
out.
no, we're not laughing at you. You were going in, and it's just your computer was, your internet was choppy. That's all, King.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's all. It's all. But we heard you though. We heard your passion.
We don't want you to go too far in it, when your internet is like chopping, chop.
It was
Cut me when it starts chopping. Cut me. So let's come to page 57.
So now you clear, we can hear you, but it's like
Page 57. Maybe when I start the roaring, it starts to mess up. I'm
right.
saying that we're living organisms. So I'm simply saying that we're living organisms, right? As a matter of fact, we all experienced it when we were young and we were in the 6th and 5th grades. Y'all remember being there, right? And you go to science class, okay? And when you go to science class, what's the first thing that you get it out the solution? It'd be a frog, right? And we dissect the frogs. Y'all remember that?
I never dissected a frog on.
You never dissected the frog in school? Well, maybe I did in Baltimore, Maryland. Had an excellent science class, right? But why didn't they start you off with a cadaver? They could have started you off with a cadaver, couldn't they? Why did they start you off with a fish and frogs? Because the body plan is the same. Because the body plans are the same. And so you start off, you can learn a lot from fish. You can learn a lot about human anatomy, right? They start you off simple. And then we deal with the complex. By the time you get to medical school, you deal with cadavers, right? So we got to start these people off with the ABCs. So let's come to page 57. It says,
what book is that? What book is that? Page 57 or what?
The Star Beginnings, Dr. Charles Finch.
I need to get that book.
Oh,
How much is it?
It's a good book. Now, hold on, let me grab it. Because he said he's on page 57.
Glad Dr. Ma read it. Dr. Ma, you talking?
No. I'm on page 57 now. So we already talked about the Lumbambo bone or the Shango bone. So I don't know if he was going into the number in the Nile Valley, a case study of mathematics and
Go
evolution.
down to 50.
Maybe you should go in and come back on your phone. You probably got a better connection.
Let me see.
Nope.
You can't. Where you at, doctor?
I'm right here. I'm looking at page 57 with you. Are you talking about the number in the Nile Valley?
No, start off with 56. Right at the bottom, it says Upper Paleolithic Proto-Mathematics.
Oh, you're on 56.
Yeah, all the way at the bottom.
Oh, it says this puts the Ashango. All right, it says that the Ashango bone.
Nope, you ain't go down far enough.
Yeah, it says this puts the Ashango in the Upper Paleolithic era. I'm right there. What you talking about?
Okay.
It says forcing us to radically revise our ideas of when and where humanity began to engage in formal intellectual and indeed scientific inquiry. Upper Paleolithic proto-mathematics and calendars in East Africa are consistent with the Upper Paleolithic evidence, 41,000 to 28,000 BC, for systematic iron ore mining in Southeast Africa, see Chapter 2, revealing the presence of a proto-science and a proto-technology in Africa older than 20,000 years. This cultural sophistication, bringing Africa to the brink of civilization tens of thousands of years earlier than anyone ever expected, again shows Africa to be the cradle land of techniques that gradually diffuse to the rest of the world. That was deep. That was deep,
Right.
Yeah.
So y'all can hear me now, right?
Oh yeah, you're perfect.
Right. So you talking 46,000 years, right? He's talking about mining. If you come to Dr. Ben's book, right, he talks about Swaziland and mining. It takes science to do this. I've been trying to say this for years, but people are so chicken shit, scared to death, right? Excuse my language. I'll use one cuss word today. People are so afraid, right, of not really wanting to love nature like they can. Nature is where your spirituality has to come from, according to John G. Jackson. I think you read it, Dr. Oyamayat. We talked about man first worship nature. Like, what else was you going to worship? Like, if you don't drink water in 3 days, I bet you. All my Jesus Christ fans out there, I'm going to cheer for you. Yeah, right? I want you to go 3 days without water, but pray to Jesus and see how long you make it. All right? I'm not trying to be funny. Rely on Jesus and Muhammad in that. Rely on them. Right? You're not going to be able to think after about the third day. Okay? You're just not. So the real power is in the water. The real power is in the sun. The real power is in nature. But racism, white supremacy has taken you away from nature and given you religion where you pray to a God that you can't see, touch, or smell. So the real power of your spirituality comes from nature. The spiritual power to develop housing, to find clean water, to build structures that will help protect the next generation, to get to the age of reproduction is what you really was all about. And you did it on such a level that the rest of the world came to see that level. And now you go against it. You go against the truth with a lie, a diabolical lie. It tells you that nature is not important to you, but yet you drink water every day. Nature is not important to you, but yet you develop melanin to protect yourself from the harmful rays. So, at the end of the day, we have never taught white man science. We have just strictly taught science, which encompasses all of humanity. The thing that made you who you was your understanding of your natural world. And nobody can get around that. That's what made you who you was. That you understood the natural world better than all your competitors. Now you misunderstand the natural world, so now you're at the bottom of the totem pole. Plain and simple. I should have been got this one right here for you. I've come up.
Crazy. So, we've been going for about 2 hours now.
Yeah,
So
shut it down. Time to shut it down.
if we don't have any questions, I think that we should kind of just close out. Dr. Mott, do you want to say anything before we close out?
I mean, sis, I was getting ready. Look, you got me. I know, I'm normally in bed around 9, but I was getting ready. Sis, I was getting ready to get into this. Start talking about sources, and I was gonna go in, but I can save it. I
No,
can.
come on, sis. Come on.
I can save it because I mean, you got a point. It's like we've been going for 2 hours, and so I can save it for another build where we get into the sources that we use and why we use them.
Okay, so we can do a part 2 like next week then.
Absolutely.
Evolution of science part 2. So we always like to give our audience an opportunity to ask questions. So if anyone has any questions in the chat, please go ahead and drop your questions in the chat so we can ask a few questions, and then we can close out. Just the purpose of this build is just to kind of talk about the evolution of science, like the title says, so you can know our methodologies and why we do what we do. So we can have context to the conversation. Anytime you have people who are challenging the state-sponsored religion, Abrahamic faith, Christianity, all that, you are going to have people to get annoyed and irritated by that. But we have to stay on track because, science is important, not only because it helps us with information, but it helps us to become better thinkers. And the more we can think, the better we can solve problems. So let's see if we got some questions. We got Monica said we take too long to come back live. Y'all having us in suspense for what's next. Okay, Mo, we need to do more. I agree with you on that one. Okay,
so we get more.
So Carrie Keaton said, what online courses would you recommend? Carrie, I recommend that you go to Coursera and you take the evolution class, and also they have the beginning, the formation of the universe. That's a serious class right there, the formation of the universe. Those are 2 classes
Get your coffee.
What you said,
brother, Evolution 101. I suggest you take Dr. Oyamaya's class, mathematics. I suggest you take Dr. Naya's class. What's the name of your class? Psychology? What you doing? That's what I suggest. So we got the Ross Squad University coming your way.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Just you take Wuja's class, and they having a sister class when they teaching the sisters. So I mean, you start with that.
Let me show Can I show them the flyer, Sister Naya? Do you mind? Or you don't want to put it out there yet?
No, you can go ahead. So what Unc is saying is that we got the Amaran Squad Communiversity coming soon.
Yes.
Then we have Dr. Ma'ad and I on Sunday. We're going to teach a Africana womanism bill for the sisters, so we can be able, have some spears for when people are trying to because we want to make sure we build a system so we can have enough information to help build the community, because the sisters are about building. So that has always been our job in this community. So we got to really understand that we're not derailed by feminism, and that we have proper context when we're talking about our role in the African liberation. So Dr. Mott, you can go ahead and share that.
Yeah, I want you to talk about it though, Sister Naya. I want you to talk about it because you're more of the expert on it than I am. But I want you to get in. I want you to get into the book because you read it. You went through it. I'll be combing through it with you. So I want you to explain to the sisters, this whole idea or this ideology of, I mean, we could briefly do it, of Africana womanism.
Okay. Yeah, so not to give a lot away, but Africana womanism really gets into self-determination, specifically self-naming. A lot of times what happens is become very reactionary to what's going on in the world, and we get lost in our reaction. So, you know, when white people talk about feminism, we want to be reactionary and say black feminism. You know, if white people say white womanism, we say black womanism. So this is a reactionary response to racism and white supremacy. But the reality of it is, like we showed today, is that African women, we have our own principles of how we engage. And so Dr. Ma'at and I will be going over Africana womanism, and it's different from Black feminism, it's different from African feminism, and womanism as developed by Alice Walker, the ancestors. So we talk about how can Africana womanism shape the experience and improve the relationship between the Black man and the Black woman, which is needs repairing in many ways. And we talked about how this ideology contributes to the African discourse and the philosophy and the values that we have as African people. So we want to get the sisters together, and we just want to have a bill because we want to be able to teach the next generation these principles. It's 18 principles, and we're going to go over those principles in detail. So Dr. Ma, you want to build?
Well, let me get out of this. All right, so we're going to meet on Sundays from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me make sure that I exit out of there. Okay, did I get out? Okay, so yeah, we'll be meeting on Sundays from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're in the process now of getting like at least 20 autographed books from Professor or Dr. Clenora Hudson Weems. So I spoke to her yesterday or the day before yesterday, and she's supposed to be signing like 20 copies for me and shipping them to me. And so once I get them in my hand, we'll post the flyer. I'll have Sister Naya throw it in the group, and you guys can just PayPal us the money and we'll ship you a book. And hopefully, Sister Naya, we can get started around the beginning of August. That's what I'm hoping. At least we get started by, the first week in August. What do you think about that, Sister Naya? So that's why I didn't put a start date on the flyer, because I wasn't sure.
Right. Yeah, sure. So when you get the copy, the autographed copy, and big up to you for like reaching out to all these people. Like, I love how you do it.
Oh, thanks, Sister Naya. I did. I got in touch with her. She's real cool too, Sister Naya. And she said that after we read the book, she's willing to come on a platform to have a discussion with us about the book. So she's a really cool sister. Always on the go. Always on the go. Always on the go. In fact, she's getting ready to go to Zimbabwe, I believe, to speak on her book. So
really cool. Teaching at University of Missouri.
There.
Yeah, my son starts there in August. Well, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, she's still there. She's still there. But really cool sister. Really cool sister.
And I have a question for you, Dr. Mott, then we're going to have to go. So when we were talking about the book, because Brother Sinjetti, I have been posting on this for like January, because I noticed when the sisters start to talk and have a voice, the F word comes out a lot. It doesn't matter our theoretical background or our education. Anytime we start to talk, I sense in my spirit that the brothers think, oh, she must be a feminist. So I've been posting about Africana womanism for a while, for January, but Brother Sinjetti brought it up, like, we need to start teaching this because it's about self-naming and really self-determination, because that's the most important aspect of this is self-naming. And so when we were talking about it, Dr. Ma, you immediately was like, okay, we need to do a hangout. We need to do a group. Why did you do that? Like, because I didn't get a chance to ask you that question. Why did you immediately say we need to put something together?
Right, sis, because a lot of our sisters are they're
okay.
Really
Thank you very much. We'll do that next week.
You ain't right, you ain't right. But I just real quick, I'll be really.
I was playing.
Now I'll be very brief, but Sister Naya, I was just looking at our sisters and seeing how a lot of our sisters are drawn to feminism. You know, a lot of our sisters they're being drawn to feminism, and I see the adverse effects of that. And so I said, in order to counteract that, then let's really try to get this ideology of African womanism out there, you know, with the goal or with the objective to kind of counteract what's going on. You know what I mean, Sister Naya? Because a lot of sisters, and then it's like, oh no, I don't believe in white feminism. So now they're black feminists. You get what I'm saying? And the only thing that I see, Sister Naya, is that our sisters being drawn to this whole feminism and black feminism and African feminism. I just see that what I see happening is it creating more problems, you know, or enhancing the problems that we already have. And so anything that creates more problems is a detriment to African life. You know what I mean? To the sustaining of African life, man. And so to put it into it, I figured that we could just promote African womanism and get it out there and teach that ideology to our sisters. You know, because African womanism, and just based off of what you sent me so far, it seems like it's a very inclusive ideology, whereas like feminism to me seems to be very exclusive. And then it seems to me also, Sister Naya, that the objective of African womanism is to really to heal the woman and empower the woman for the sake of healing and empowering the family in the Pan-African community. Whereas with feminism, it seems like you want to empower the woman, but what's the objective? To empower her to do what exactly? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I'm just trying to figure out what is the agenda. So you say, what is the end game? So I empower these women, you know, I empower these women for the sake of what? But with, you know, but with African womanism, it seems like you're trying to heal the woman, you know, motivate the woman, inspire the woman, empower the woman for the sake of healing and for healing in the family, you know, and empowering the family, empowering the man. So it seems to me that African womanism is very inclusive, whereas like feminism is like extremely exclusive. So I figure, Sister Naya, in order to combat feminism, we definitely need to teach and promote African womanism. So that's why I said we got to do a hangout and start really getting this ideology out of there, because we're losing a lot of sisters to black feminism right now.
Wow, so it's an epidemic right now, huh?
Yeah, I feel like it is. I mean, it's a lot of it. It's a lot of it. You know, sisters are like, I'm a black, I've seen it, you know, I'm a black feminist. I'm like, wow, sis, do you hear yourself? You know, and so I think that it's imperative that we start teaching the sisterhood about African womanism and promoting African womanism.
Okay.
Can I slide this in for a minute? Listen, I already seen this coming. Like, that's why I was always on the no pseudo. Because everybody know, right, that first of all, one, black men lead the pseudoisms in the community. Two, then the black women will pick up the damn mantle on pseudoisms, and it'll be the chakra systems, it'll be the Reiki, it'll be everything. And they blend the feminisms and the whole 9 yards in there. Think about that. Let's talk about this for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Google the word goddess. What pops up? The New Age movement. These white women, right? Actually, you know what I'm saying, was pushing the goddess without the god. This is a white woman's doctrine. Take some acid, smoke some weed, drink a drink, get naked, and you the goddess. You Mother Nature by your damn self. The hell with Father Nature, you Mother Nature. You feel me? This was the white woman's doctrine, the goddess. Find me an African nation, right, where you do not see a god beside the goddess. Go find me that. White people, New Age, pseudo doctrine, where they blend and mix everything. So this is where your feminism comes from. It comes from that. The doctrine where the woman can do everything by her damn self. You know what I'm saying? Part the gender, she can have a baby by herself.
Mm.
She can do everything. She don't need a man. You know what I'm saying? This is the doctrine of pseudoisms that the black conscious community has woven into their little conscious religion, and everybody be mad. So we'll just light a damn candle, and it'll be okay. We'll make up all kind of everything. This is where our community has actually fallen. We fall into a position of craziness. That's why this class y'all gonna teach is so damn important. That to be spiritual don't mean light a damn candle.
Right.
To be spiritual means to be able to connect with your community and understand their needs, like Sister Mariette Batard did back in about 26,000 BCE. She connected to the sisterhood, gynecology, having babies, making sure it's right. She gave something to the community, and she wasn't separated from the community. So it's important to heal. The sisterhood, the brotherhood needs to heal from the pseudoisms has actually torn the fabric of what it means to be African away from us.
Mm.
Plain and simple. It has destroyed our community and turned it into a damn religion where everybody is the greatest on top, where you can fly through the air with the melanin, where humana changes everything, where the white man is the caveman, all misinformation. Where you give up the caves, you give up the God, and you take the goddess, where you can YouTube black women sitting around with a group of naked black women, and that shit make a lot of sense. We feeling our inner. No, you feeling your inner. I ain't even gonna say it. They'll kill a video. I don't want to mess it up. I'm simply saying that I'm glad that y'all gonna bring the balance back. The spiritual don't mean light a candle. Lighting the candle could be part of the process, right? But being spiritual is really those who are aware of their surroundings and have the ability to use their surroundings to put them at an advantage against things that want to destroy you. That's real spirituality, no matter what y'all say. And I'm done.
No, but you made a good point, brother. When you said that when they said you could be the goddess without the God, I mean that's detrimental to the sustaining of African life, and anything that's a detriment to African life, that's anti-African, and that's why I had an issue with that whole black woman is God, and I'm talking about capital God. I had a whole issue with that entire ideology because it was kind of like you wanted to elevate the woman and then denigrate the man. So it's not balanced. You get what I'm saying? And that's anti-African. That's anti-African. That's anti-African. And anyway, when you have something like a dichotomy like that, Dr. Kobe Kambon tells us in his book, The African Personality in America, that is characteristic of a European worldview. That's what that is.
100%. And no one will believe you. But you know what? I'm gonna stop talking because I want to. We're gonna work on the 2-hour shows. We're gonna work on it.
Right. And so that was good. Thank you for that. We just want to close the show, and I want to close this show with a passage from Afrocentricity, because the reason why we did this show is because we want to make sure that we take back our language, because when we take back our language, then we can understand our science and our culture. Part of the reason why we have these personas, I call them these indigenous personas, is because they have divorced themselves from the culture, and they've done so through their language. So I'm going to read this passage from Afrocentricity, A Theory of Social Change, and then we're going to close out. Dr. Mata, if you got a passage, you can read something up too. And so on page 41, he says language liberation. This is why we got to stop using white man science, because we need to liberate ourselves through our language. An ideology for liberation must find its existence in ourselves. It cannot be external to us, and it cannot be exposed by those other than ourselves. It must be derived from our particular historical and cultural experience. Our liberation from the captivity of racist language is the first order of intellectual development. So we have to stop saying the white man science. We have to, because we showed tonight that Africans were the originators of science. So I think we need to take back science, take back that language. Don't let anyone scare you into using your mind and liberating your mind through your sciences and thinking. Okay. And oh, we got Black Panther on the show. Oh, Black Panther! Happy birthday! Happy born day!
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for joining
Hey,
us,
can
Black.
y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. So
Hey,
we
I
were closing
appreciate
out.
the
What
birthday
you got to
wishes.
say, brother?
Oh, nothing. I was just coming on to see what y'all was talking about. You know, nothing
Okay.
major.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Oya. You got a passage to read for us to close us out?
No, I think that passage that you read, Queen, was beautiful. Beautiful by Dr. Malife Asante. I actually highlighted it. I grabbed it off my shelf and highlighted it while you were reading it. So that was an excellent passage.
Okay. Brother Unc, you want to say something before we close out? Oh, there he is.
I definitely want to acknowledge my sister in the chat room, Sister Kaba Nepti Ankh.
Hell yeah.
Gotta acknowledge my sister in the chat room. Want to say what's up and send her all kinds of love and hugs. Peace and power to you, my sister. Black African power. Wanted to send a shout out to her.
Yeah, I want to give her a shout. Can y'all hear me? Shit, my phone is crazy. My phone died on me. Yeah, shout out to Sister Kaba. She's also part of that very, very highly intelligent sisterhood. And see, y'all ain't figured it out yet. I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. Right? I made sure I surrounded myself with intelligent black women. That's the secret. If you want to know what I know, surround yourself with intelligent black women. I mean, highly intelligent. Then you'll start to win. There you go. That's the secret. Secret for the day. Black Panther, what's good, bro? Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, what's happening, brother?
Dude, man. Mr. Good Show here, bro.
It is what it is, man.
Just getting up.
Okay. I mean, we've been going, so I mean, we're gonna close out. Thank you for joining us. We love you. We love fighting for Black liberation. Keep reading, keep writing, keep studying, and just keep fighting Black African power.